are the chances of that type of saga happening? Very small chances. I had no idea that that was what was going to happen, but a phone call came while I was in the research center looking for information about my family. And then they called me down, and I talked to Debbie Allen. And she said, well, I've been thinking about making a movie all these years. I said, well, I've been to a lot of directors, but very few of them are willing to put their money to do it. They said, but I'm gathering some information and some references. As soon as I can get enough reference to convince a producer, say, I'll produce the movie. So she took my details, my phone number, my address, and that was the end of the conversation. I, like all of you in this room, when I went back to my children, I told them about, I met this lady. This lady called me, her name is Debbie Allen. You know, they were laughing at me. They say, you mean you don't know Debbie Allen? Debbie Allen is one of the famous first African Americans who were on Broadway. You know, she has choreographed programs, and she has been very much highlighted in the movie industry or in the television industry. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I've never heard of Debbie Allen. So don't feel bad that you don't know Debbie Allen. How did Debbie Allen meet Steven Spielberg? Debbie Allen and her husband had some children who were going to the same school with Steven Spielberg's children. Okay? Now you see where families come into play? And Debbie Allen, you know, usually when PTA or parents meet, everybody brings some things to share. And Debbie Allen had brought grits. Again, how many of you know what grits is? Grits. It's small porridge. It's a porridge of wheat cream. You know, it's not Quaker oats, but it's similar to Quaker oats. That's how you prepare it. It's good for breakfast or for meals. So they call it in the US grits, G-R-I-T-S. So you can Google it, because I know all of you are on Facebook or some computer. G-R-I-T-S. It's one of my favorite breakfasts. But Debbie Allen had her own special way to prepare grits. She puts cornmeal in it so that it's yellow instead of white. And Steven Spielberg tasted it, and he wanted to know who fixed this. And he met Debbie Allen, and later on, the relationship continued, and that's how Debbie Allen and Steven Spielberg got to know each other. And that's how Steven Spielberg accepted to make the movie Amistad. So, don't underrate the relationships you establish. Don't underrate the people you meet, because you never know where you're going to be of help or support to each other. The rest is history. And I was involved in the making of the movie. Basically, in spite of the technological problem, I'd like to just share with you a little trailer about the making of the movie and what role I played. Now, how did I meet Steven Spielberg? Again, family is very important. How many of you have heard of Debbie Allen? Has any of you heard of Debbie Allen? But all of you know Steven Spielberg, right? Yes. Okay. Now, Debbie Allen was the person who recruited me. I was in New Orleans attending a diabetes conference with my wife. So we went to a conference and I decided to go to the Amistad Research Center one day. My favorite movie is Amistad. Oh, yeah. I mean, a little story about Steven Spielberg is that, you know, he presents himself like a common person. You know, he's very approachable once you meet him. He's very laid back. And he doesn't eat like most of you eat. You know, he eats very small. Okay? And That's about as much as I know of him. And I wish the trailer would have shown you what my son thought about Steven Spielberg when he was at the set. Yes?
What other American stars did you work with?
Thank you. You know, it's like a class. You see how this class has a diverse group of people? So when I was on the set, I was on the set with Morgan Freeman. How many of you have heard of Morgan Freeman? Okay. I was on the set with Jaimon Honsu. How many of you have heard of Jaimon Honsu? He's been on a lot of movies lately, Blood Diamond and Terminator, you know, etc., etc. Okay? And Jaimon Honsu is from Benin. Okay? He's become very famous. And of course, Matthew McConaughey. How many of you know Matthew McConaughey? Matthew McConaughey. He's also a very, very prominent actor. He was on the movie. So there were quite a variety of people. Anthony Hopkins. How many of you have heard of Anthony Hopkins? Okay. So those are some of the people I worked with on the set. Any other questions?
Was becoming an actor one of your dreams when you were our age?
Oh, believe me, when I was at your age, I did not even think about movie industry. One, because I grew up in a village in Sierra Leone, West Africa. We did not have television in my house, okay? So I did not watch movies in the house. And we did not have cell phones. When I grew up at your age, there was no cell phone. All of Africa, not even Abidjan, had cell phone then, okay? So I really didn't have that as my goal. My goal was to go to college and become a teacher. We need more Africans to make movies. And Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire is one of the strongest indicators of development in Africa. Ivory Coast, Angola, South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. Those are the strongest economic centers that can transform Africa. So I hope you will help me to identify Africans or people who love Africa, who are currently in Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire, to get into the production industry. Because we have a lot of things to share to the world. Okay?